My spouse's brother's voice telling me, bitch, you can't stay, oh, this is so and so's brother, you can't stay in the house longer than weekend. And if you do, what I'm gonna do to you, basically a threat.
Well, you explain to me now, say, they have a court case so we can't get around. And if we try that, we are going to have a problem. And you explain it to me.
A few moments later.
So, Avree, nobody can't tell if you ever come out to that until they're ready to come out. This video is to prove that I am working, so I would not be able to be at the house. So she's responsible for everything there. Two of us going through the case. Yes, it's in my authority. It's also in hers, because we did this thing as a couple. So she have all the rights as well.
Welcome to my channel. My name is Avree, but you may call me ReeRee. Happy New Year. It's been a while. I have been recovering. I'm proud to say that I'm walking. Not at my best. There's a long way to go. And since my injury, there have been many developments in my personal life. And today I will be discussing how family land war, yes, family land war again, destroyed or ruined my 5-year marriage. Now, for those of you who may not know, I advise you to go back and look through my videos at the content, and you will know why or how I came about living on my spouse's family property. So go ahead and you can do that research. Obviously, initially, I didn't pick up certain things, but if I were to be truthful, from the get-go, the in-laws, and I use that term very loosely, had very questionable characters. The first thing I noticed is that they were obsessed with mating from their own RACE, meaning if they were to be involved in a relationship with someone, they would have preferred that person to be an COOLIE or a INDIAN, right? In the midst of that, I observed that they had obvious contempt for members of the BLACK RACE. It was very obvious to me. So at the time dealing with my spouse personally did not seem to have any kind of ill feelings towards members of the other ACE. He claimed that he had no problem with, those kinds of people or our people. And so initially it really never affected the relationship. Because of this same RACE obsession or mating with the same type of people, this leads me to believe that this is one of the main reasons why we were being challenged for the house, and challenged mostly me. I feel like I was one being challenged for the house. A house that we spent our money on, and mind you, I believe I spent most of the money in the investment of this property. Along the way, I noticed 3 main conflicts. One of the conflicts, other than their obvious dislike for whosoever, is that they had a long lineage of destructive alcoholism, which was normalized to them. So when I say lineage meaning generation after generation after generation, meaning decades, possibly just as far back as their existence, they have remedies, and it's destructive. And regardless of how destructive it is, it's normalized. So drink, drunk, fight by a man, and everything was normal. That for me was like shocking. And mind you, I'm not really a people's person, so I'm the kind of person who is just laid back and I will observe. And these are some red flags, but obviously by this time I was already living there. The next thing I noticed is that they normalized and accepted toxic traits, meaning being a backbiter, being a hypocrite, being a liar, being bad mind is normal. It was actually encouraged. Like at no point in time another one would tap another on the shoulder and say, I think that's wrong, or I think that's bad. Everybody would just hop on the bandwagon and it's just normal. And if you are a Jamaican living in Jamaica and you know any COOLIE people, they will tell you that they're not normal people. It's like a cult to themselves. The third thing I noticed is that they had a deep desire to compete against other people in whatever aspect of life, rather than just try to be the best version or a better version of themselves. One example would be if one person purchased, and mind you, they're in a close-knit community. So if one person purchased, let's say, an SUV, another member of the family would go ahead and purchase one just like it, regardless if they're able to actually afford it or even to maintain it, even if it means in the future falling short financially or falling on your face financially. They would do whatever it would take just to prove a point or to prove that they're better than somebody else or the other person, which is toxic, because at the end of the day, if you live outside of your means, only you will suffer in the long run. If you combine all of these toxic traits, you will find a group of people who are stuck in a loop of misery. And how dreadful of me to put roots down and build a house in this kind of environment. You may or may not know that I was actively working on a house, as I have no intention in staying in this kind of toxic environment. And my spouse and I worked feverishly to get the ball rolling on this project, to get the project started. And just as the ball began to roll, I broke my leg in a vicious attack, which caused a major setback, not just in my project, but I endured physical, mental, and even financial turmoil. While I appreciate the fact that I have a home to recover to back in my spouse's neck of the woods, my injury forced us back into a place, both of us, into a place that we were running breathless from. How this space is set up is that there are acres of property possessed by one family, one INDIAN or COOLIE family. This group of people, or these group of people, they have the same value system, or in this case, the lack of a value system, or its lack thereof. So in other words, most of them are dirty and bad mind. I have seen members of society, respected members of society, refer to this particular place as COOLIE town or Royal Town. If you know, you know what that means. I have also heard stories from non-members who reside in this community that they have witnessed evil worshipping and the witchcraft that have been practiced by these people throughout his lifetime and possibly before he was born. So in other words, from generation to generation, these people have been practicing witchcraft, among other questionable things. Needless to say, one could really not expect anything good from these people. It is important to know that these people that I refer to, who you would call wicked or evil or bad mind, rarely ever venture outside of their hometown, as it is common knowledge that they would more than likely not survive anywhere else in Jamaica or possibly even in the world with the way how they live. So naturally, based off what I'm describing to you about these people, they fought us against, or they fought, or they tried, or they've been trying to fight us out of our own home that we spent our money on, fairly and squarely, which is now an active court case. And I have videos discussing this matter on this channel that you can go ahead and check out. Actually link the description, or make links of the videos in the description below. So the fight against us, or the fight for a home, has definitely taken a toll on me and on my spouse, and of course taken a toll on our relationship. We spent a lot of money on the property, and we had intentions to do business on the property, as we currently have an unfinished full cob that could house 300 chickens, among other things, which really and truly has just gone down the drain. So of course there was a financial setback due to this fight against the house, or fight to have us out of the house. There was great mental fatigue, as we were just finding our footing as a young couple living together, only to discover the great amount of hate, unfairness, and trolling that we were facing, and we were always uncomfortable in our space. And with his demon-possessed rumhead uncle living on the other side of the building, consistent surveillance, or the constant surveillance, made us weary. A crucial point of knowledge is that the uncle that convinced Jeremy to invest in the property and then later attempted to kick him out is actually his mother's brother. Now, for the life of me, I will never understand how a mother could sit down and allow her brother to destroy her son's life, all the while maintaining a perfectly close relationship with that said brother, is beyond me. May this type of motherly love never find me, because all the persons on this channel who have known my story knows I do not have an ideal relationship with my own mother. The sad reality is that my spouse's mother's hatred for me is way stronger than the love she has for her own son. And I may or may not do a video regarding in-laws in the future. So these are some of the major reasons why my spouse and I decided to start over and build a house from scratch, due to the fact that we believe that there is more to life than this type of toxicity that we lived in. So imagine how devastating it was having to be returned back to this place with a broken leg and spend several months and also weathering a category 5 hurricane in an environment that you've been running from. Terrible. While staying in this place, a lot of old issues that we had as a couple resurfaced. One of which is the fact that I do not have a relationship with my spouse's family. And so being back in this environment, being unable to walk, thus dependent, made matters a whole lot worse. Of course, there were other personal issues that I will address in another video, but ultimately I wanted to end the relationship. I was seeing too much of my spouse's family's traits being embodied in his own traits and characteristics, and truthfully it made me very sick to my stomach. And with a broken leg and having to lay down on my back for 3 whole months, I had a lot of time to think about things and observe a lot of things. One of the reasons why personally I felt it was important to leave the family land and to leave the property, yes, the court case is still ongoing and we're not giving up on the court case, but meanwhile we wait, I felt it was important to build a life elsewhere, a place free from drama, a place that is full ownership. I own the property, so there is nobody to tell me what to do or what not to do. I can literally move in my own pace. And so the broken leg and the injury threw me back into a place I was literally running from. Now, when my spouse is around his family, believe it or not, their ideals do rub off on him. Their mentality rubs off on him. When he's in another space, he's able to move and think differently. And his entire family lives in that space. You understand? And so the influence is very thick, and I saw where I could see obvious changes. And mind you, in this time I wasn't able to walk. There was a lot I couldn't do. I couldn't even feed myself, because the only thing I could do is get up, move from the bed to the bathroom, wash myself, brush my teeth, and that's it. Because I was on strict bed rest, being that I had a possible surgery to do, which we were trying to avoid. And so it was a case where the bone had broken in two and it was shifting. And so if it continued to shift, I would have had to get surgery to screw it back together, which would have taken a lot of money for surgery, as well as a lot of time for recovery, and of course a lot of pain and suffering. So being that I did not want to do the surgery, I had to take the advice of my doctors and just lay on my back for 3 whole months, and it was not easy. So I had a lot of time to reflect. Now, as I mentioned before, if anybody in Jamaica or anybody is a Jamaican and they are aware of people, they're not nice. Now, the issue is that, number one, they don't like themselves. So you can't expect someone who doesn't like nor respect themselves to like nor respect you. And what I found in the family is that everybody hated each other secretly, but everybody pretended to like each other. And these are the traits I did not want for myself nor for my spouse. I do believe my spouse is different from them, and most people would say yes, you would think so because you're there with him. But the reality is that I did feel like for some time, for the many years, that he was different. But like I said, being back in the environment, and of course under the pressure of me not being able to move, I assumed that meant have taken a toll on him. But he started to move like them, he started to behave like them, and honestly I was just fed up. Like I said, there were other things that were the issue, and that's a video for itself. But this video is only to tell you how the family land war finally broke me, why I decided to end the relationship. The fact that I had an injury and the fact that we share the property together, meaning we both own that property, we both invested in the property, no one has a single say. In fact, he would have more say than me, being that the family property actually belongs to him. It is only due to his loyalty to me why I have a share in the property, because he knows good and well that I invested most of the money towards the property. These things, along with the pending court case, made separation impossible, because literally I can't move, literally I can't walk. And because of this, there was a lot of drama. Like I said, I will do another video addressing certain things. In this time, my spouse was not accepting the fact that I was over the relationship. And unfortunately for me, he did a lot of venting to his family that already never liked me. And these things only made matters worse between the both of us. Why would you complain to people that you already know do not like me? This is the exact reason why I wanted to end the relationship, because in my mind I felt like maybe you need to find people from your own tribe to deal with so that they can accept that person. And on top of that, I'm actually a no nonsense person. So the moment someone does me wrong, insults me, I just keep it moving. I don't need to respond. I just move on and forget about it, and it's better for me. The issue was never about my spouse expressing himself. The issue was the fact that he was expressing himself to somebody who will not give him wrong when he's wrong, because already they don't like me, which means that they'll be biased. So venting to them is, you would never get solid advice from them. He would never get solid advice from them because, hello, they don't like me. So that was just ridiculous for me, and it's almost like betrayal. If you are in a relationship with someone and you're having issues, I would imagine you'd vent to someone that is unbiased, someone who probably would not pick sides, someone who knows right from wrong. And I can tell you those people do not know right from wrong, because they live in the wrong all the days of their lives and they have no issues with that. Vent to people that I have decided to distance myself from 3 years prior made no sense. Distancing myself made my life better because it was less drama, less issues, less cargo bring home, less mix up, just less of everything bad. So less bad for me is always a win. Less bad means more good, and it never bothered me. Only the fact that he chose to vent to them, which I guess in his defense would be natural, because regardless of their characteristics, they are his family. As I mentioned before, my decision to end the relationship resulted in a lot of drama, and some of the drama was actually physical. Each time there was an audible argument in the house, my spouse's uncle will eavesdrop, flip the story, lie, and then spread rumors to the rest of the family, and they bask in the lies. As the family is known to be gossip obsessed, that's what they're made of. Gossip, gossip, lies, lies, hypocrites, hypocrites, everything that's bad and evil. It just makes no sense. No matter how wrong my spouse would be, they would always lie and blame me. Someone in a cast I could hardly even walk, or wasn't even walking. And this is one of the reasons why I said to myself, it's either I leave, and the fact that I had to come back, I did not believe that the relationship could work out because of these things. And at that time, I believe my spouse did nothing to prove the truth in that time. And of course, my spouse would argue loudly and use this to his advantage, and of course be spiteful. Over the years, long before my broken leg, I've always begged, warned, asked, whatever you want to call it, my spouse, if he has an issue, to keep it on the low. Speak decently, like have emotional intelligence to express yourself without arguing loudly, because whether you're wrong or right, once they hear an argument, obviously they're going to blame me, because they don't like people, they don't like me. They're crazy people, they're very unfair people. They only like people when they are able to use them or take advantage of them, and that is a fact. Important point to everybody in Jamaica and in the world: never live close to in-laws. I don't care how good you think you are. I don't care how much you think they love you. I don't care how much they think they like you. Get a space for yourself where you're private. You can have fun in private. You can be happy in private. You can be sad in private. You can be angry in private. You can sing in private. You can yell. You can argue in private, because these things will destroy your relationship. By spitefully arguing loudly, he was surely setting me up to be bullied by his family. The arguments reached a point where my spouse claimed that if I am not with him, I cannot stay in my own home, despite me contributing about 80% of the funds to build this house. Very important point: do not build with a man. I don't care how much you love him. I don't care how much he loves you. I don't care how much you think you love him. I don't care how much you think he loves you. Because when love turns to hate, it will be a nightmare come true. Imagine knowing the truth and having the audacity to fix your mouth to say, I can't stay because I don't want you. This is what happens when relationship gets sour, or even marriages. If you can do it on your own, it will be best. If it's even a shub catch, a board house, a one room, a lease and sale, it doesn't matter. Do it on your own, because like I said, when love turns to hate, when people start to feel themselves and people feel like they can't get the best of you, but people can have you their own way, these are the things that will happen, and it will get physical. It will get worse, trust me. So long and short, my spouse's bitterness caused him to do and say unforgivable things. Now, what things am I referring to? I'll give you one. One day recently, I was home minding my own business when I received a phone call from my spouse's mother's number. Now, mind you, these people and I do not have a relationship, but I figured it was my spouse reaching out. Maybe he didn't have any credit, so yes, I answered. Mind you, in this time, there was a lot of tension. I answered the phone under the notion that it might have been my spouse reaching out. If I knew it was the mother or anybody else, I would not have answered because I care not to. No, upon answering the phone call, I heard a male voice, which is my spouse's brother's voice, telling me, bitch, you can't stay, oh, this is so-and-so's brother, you can't stay in the house longer than weekend. And if you do, what I'm going to do to you, basically a threat.
She don't forget about some money or she feel it or feel it. But we don't know talk about that.
Yeah, so
Neither you
I understand that. I
the
understand
kids have the last talk.
Yes, I never know that. I never know that part.
Alright, so
When you want to kick her out, my brother moved it.
she said that you tell her, say, that guarantee you know read. Come on,
Weekend.
weekend.
Yes. That's not true.
End of the week.
End of the week, weekend. Come on, talk about
But that's not
Alright, where up, man?
Anything or anything, because we can get anything done.
No,
Anything or anything.
Look, you realize already, did I say that? Did I say that? You realize I feel about the quote, that's an honor to me.
Me know why you puzzle my friend. What is it?
Talk to you.
You know she record, so I would jump and check that.
You realize that you don't say that. You realize that.
Will you explain to me now, say, they have a court case and we can't get her out. And if we try that, we are going to have a problem. And you explain it to me.
No, of course, this was reported to the police and they warned him. And there is more to this story. But I do have a recording that you can listen to where the police is actively warning him to leave me alone and back off, and also telling him that he has no business with the house, no business with the court case. He doesn't have the authority to put me out. But this is what my spouse was venting to his family. Now, mind you, in this neck of the woods where I currently stay with my spouse, I have no friends here, I have no family here. It is me all by my lonesome. And so what I find is that people are wicked and hateful, and it may not even be safe for me. Now, there is a new development that I will address in another video, because upon writing this script, for the life of me, I would not have dreamt that it would have gone that way. But you do have to stay tuned for that, because that is a whole heap of mess and drama. Now, my source's brother is someone that I have not spoken to since 2022. And if he sees me, it's probably on government road, because I don't go into their space and they're not welcome in my space. Now, I find that the obsession with this house, and like I said, the house is not no big house, it's not a big property. It's literally just one bedroom, a bathroom, a living room and kitchenette, and a half-done veranda. That's it. But what I find with these people, because as I mentioned before, everybody thinks one way, most of them think one way, most of them are not good-minded. So any impression that somebody is progressing in life or doing well in life, any impression that somebody is independent, such as myself, because like I said, I'm not one to beg, I'm not one to keep too many friends, I'm not one to talk to people. I'm actually introvert. I'm not really a people's person. I keep myself to myself mostly. And this is something that is shunned upon in this community, because in this place, everybody has to know your business, everybody has to talk bad about you, everybody has to be miserable together. And so any notion that a person is happy or doing well, which I have many places to go in my life, I don't feel like I have reached the pinnacle or the height of my potential as yet. But even so, it still is upsetting to them. And I feel like when you leave people where they are, it bond them, really. There's no other way I can put it more than it bond them. And so I believe that my spouse's brother have been waiting for an opportunity to call me outside my name. Now, the next time you start thinking about calling somebody bitch, remember the big hole where you drop out, and then you will find your bitch. Because I don't speak to these people, I don't trouble these people, but for some reason, every single day they have the need to talk about me. If they see me on the road minding my business, they have the need to call and tell my spouse. These people are crazy, and what they don't know, they will lie about. And this has been going on for a very long time. And there is more development, like I said, I will mention in another video, because we're focusing on how the family land war caused the relationship to end. Like I said, I thought it was only an uncle or an aunt or so, but it turns out that the entire length and breadth of my spouse's family was obsessed with this house that we spent money and live in. And I don't think the obsession will end until the court case comes to a close, or maybe God calls home some people. Now, through the time when my spouse and I were together, and yes, we were having our challenges, challenges with the house, financial challenges, all these things, I noticed that his family used to pretend to be half decent. Pretend, at least. But as soon as they sensed a whiff of separation between us, they no longer cared about pretending, nor did they care to pretend or to seem like normal people, like just normal, kind-hearted, or just regular people. As the moment they have been waiting for all these years, finally they thought had come to pass. And so when my spouse and I decided to reconcile, a lot of his family members looked and felt like fools. Like I said, more was said, more was done, but another video. And we decided to get back together. It is not something that I personally announced, but I know that the family was in deep anguish, especially the ones who decided to get involved while we were having our difficulties.
Alright. Right, I make Avree get this. As in, me just want you to feel comfortable. Me have work, I do. It allows me not to be at the house at the moment. But other half, Avree Watkins is there at the house because two of us is going through this court situation, and the two of us want back her money. So now and then I'll find myself show up there, to make everything alright. But for now, it's she alone, and my brother will always be there now and then. And if she asks me if to come do something where need to be done once I'm available, I'll come and do it. I will not go against her space. I will not say anything to her that I'm her feelings. I'll answer with respect. Anything she asks, I answer. Avree, nobody can't tell if you ever come out to that until they're ready to come out. Actually tell the police, say, oh, me I go, you go stay, everything will go alright. Make sure do what she have to do, whatever. I'll get the money. So this video is to prove that I am working, so I would not be able to be at the house. So she is responsible for everything there. Two of us going through the case. Yes, it's in my authority. It's also in hers, because we did this thing as a couple. So she have all the rights as well.
I may not know if reconciliation is ideal, as my years-long suspicion of his family hating me has finally been confirmed in the most gruesome way. But all I can do now is put the relationship in the hands of God and ask Him for clarity and guidance. There are things that still sit with me, because if my spouse's brother used their mother's phone to call me, obviously she would have been there to encourage the threats, to encourage me leaving the house, to encourage being called outside my name. So obviously it would seem that whoever would want the house for themselves, even though they might have pretended not to want that. This is what happens when you rest on family land. This is what happens when you decide to build on family land. This is what happens when you decide to build with a man. If you are a woman and you are out there and you're thinking to build with a man, I would suggest you fast and pray for 90 days and 90 nights. Seek out a pastor, ask the Lord if that's the direction you should turn. If you do not believe in God, seek out your ancestors, do some grounding, do some spiritual work, and find out if that's the path that you should take. Because based off my experience, it is better to be a woman who's independent and strong. Let the man go and come. I think so. And if you can't afford a concrete house, settle with a board house. It's yours. Once it's safe and clean, you'll be okay, because your peace of mind is worth way more than anything else. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Please don't forget to hit the notification bell and leave your comments below.